the first half. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne.
I think I got my swagger back. Oh.
I love it, baby.
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. McGrath for the win. He got it. If you don't like college football and you watch this one, I'm not sure what your problem is.
Important issues. It is Sunday, December 1st. Holy crap, it's December. And Tennessee's a playoff team.
Feels good, doesn't it?
It feels good. I'd also like to drop can I drop a I was right moment real quick? Because I'm not right often. So I'm going to take a victory lap real quick.
Okay.
I said you could get in at 10-2. You would definitely be in at 10-2, almost certainly. And as the year went on, it was like, oh, it might not be true. You were definitely in at 10-2. You took care of business. And I said, there's a chance you could get in at 9-3. Like if everything worked out right and everything went right, the right teams lost, etc. Tennessee could have gotten in. Like there's potential Tennessee could be in at 9-3. Obviously, you leave it up to the committee. You leave it up to a lot of factors, but they'll almost undoubtedly be a 9-3 SEC team in there this year. Like it obviously still some weird things may need to happen, but a 9-3 SEC team will probably be in the playoff.
But also to that, good luck South Carolina, because it's between you and Alabama, and everybody knows how that's going to work out. So,
which I hate to agree with Lane Kiffin, but why is it even between Alabama and South Carolina? Why even play the games? We played that playoff game.
I don't know. That's just the way it's going to be. I don't know.
Like I have no problem in the AP and coaches poll. Georgia's ahead of Tennessee. Georgia, they got blown out in their loss, but we played that game.
Yeah,
I don't know. Whatever. I don't. That's beside the point. But yeah, you're right. It does feel good to be a playoff team. It would take quite the shaft team to not get in at this point. Obviously, it's not all set in stone. But
yeah, I don't understand the 98%. Like, what scenario would we not be in?
I don't answer that. Nobody answer that question. I don't want to know if there is a scenario we're not in, because that scenario will, in fact, play out. I think the only question now is, will a home playoff game be played in Neyland or not? Based on the coaches poll, there will be, correct? Yeah.
And the AP poll.
Yep. And the AP, yep. Trying to make sure all the
just don't make it difficult. Committee, just say you went off those polls.
Sure. Yeah.
You no argument from me.
Right. I would love a home playoff game. It would probably cost me a lot of money, but it'd be fun.
Oh yeah. I don't think there'll be that much.
What do you think? I think $250 a ticket.
I was thinking 200.
Okay. Somewhere in that range.
Yeah. Worth it.
For sure.
I mean, people are paying that for Kentucky, which is crazy, but people are doing that.
I get it. You got to see this team play when you can. I get it. Can't fault you.
We'll be in there. And I know we're going to get into that in a little bit of the playoffs and kind of how that, I mean, what we saw today from the AP poll and the coaches poll, I think that's what you have to do.
I think Ohio State's win or loss yesterday, pretty bad.
Really bad.
That's a bad loss.
10 points. It's a lot of talent. And also, like, I don't know how much recency, but I think it does play a factor in it. Like, yeah, Ohio State is probably one of your 12 best teams, they didn't look like one of your 12 best teams on Saturday.
Right. And I think just based on record, I'm not one that's saying leave them out by any means. But that loss deserves to be remembered. Why do you deserve a home playoff game if you can't win at home against a 500 team?
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of punishment. They were getting a home playoff game regardless. Well, I guess like they could have beaten Oregon in the Big Ten championship, but if they lost Oregon, they were still going to host a playoff game. Like they've been, even being second in the Big Ten, like they've always been up there to host a playoff game. There needs to be some sort of punishment for losing to the one game on your schedule that you have circled. The one game. And Michigan's a bad football team.
This year they are. Yeah.
Look what that quarterback did at the goal line. First and goal. Threw it right to a defensive end.
And there's got to be suspensions for their home playoff game, right?
Yep.
First playoff game, whether it's home or away.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, let's play that. I fear for our players.
Yeah, we don't need, in case we win, we don't want a chance to plant the flag on their field. Things could go awry. Yeah, I agree.
I don't want to get pepper sprayed.
Yeah.
Now, I do agree with anytime you see Pat Forty, I think you should pepper spray him. I don't think he should be around children at all.
Okay.
But I don't want to be pepper sprayed.
Sure. Nobody does. Nobody sane does. I think I'd rather. Would you rather get tased or pepper sprayed?
I think tased.
My eyes are very sensitive. It seems like you got to really like get after that stuff to clean it out too. Isn't there some that you have to? Don't they say to use milk in your eyes or something?
Probably.
To clean it out.
I mean, that's what you're supposed to do when you eat something really hot is drink milk. So that makes sense.
Checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd rather get tased. Just ride the lightning for a minute.
Yeah. I don't want my eyes full of milk.
Dude,
cool.
that would have been awesome if they were just out there tasing people.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been.
Honestly, though, like the people that deserve a suspension, like you know who they were because they got tased.
Yeah. If they still have the barbs in them, suspended.
Yeah.
I'm off. I know some people are like, that's too far. I think that's kind of the appropriate response. Some of those football fights, you can't really ever break them up. I think the only appropriate thing to do is just go in there, macing people.
Yeah.
I think that was the right thing to do.
The video is insane, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
When they're like, stop. And then just immediately, you know what? Start spraying them.
It's also
like there was no warning shot to that. They just started spraying.
It's also hilarious to me to get so upset over someone putting ceremoniously their flag onto your logo because it's a turf field. They can't even plant the flag within the field. Ceremoniously setting down the flag in the middle of your field. And that irritates you so badly. More than the loss, apparently. You weren't fighting like that while losing, that you have to go and start we saw 3 brawls this week because of that. You saw North Carolina, NC State, and Florida State.
And you saw Auburn out. Well, that wasn't a flag.
That wasn't a flag planting. That was just a good old fashioned rivalry, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. More so than the flag. It's also pretty rich for Florida State to get upset about that because you suck, number one. Number two, after beating Florida last year, they pulled a Lady of Neyland and they were just ripping up Florida's turf to take home with them.
Well, that and don't they like throw a spear into their own turf? Like
that's a great
kind of used to it by now.
Great point. That turf is built for that. That turf is built for flag planting.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. If you don't want them to plant a flag, don't put a massive hole from a spear in the middle of your field. What do you? Exactly. I mean,
yeah.
Come on.
I mean, you just put that was a green. You basically made it a green.
Like you greenlit flag planting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah. No, that was. But that's also what makes rivalries so special is the stupidity that comes along with them.
Honestly, kind of respect to Florida a little bit. They were just warning everybody else where the hole was.
Yep. They said, don't step here.
Yeah. Here's the flag. Yeah.
Yo, rivalry weekend rocked. Texas A&M being back rocked. Like it made rivalries great again.
Yeah. Also,
I did not.
Sucked, but yeah,
Do what?
the game kind of sucked, but yes.
Sure. It was a good first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Like good back and forth. You had that Arch Manning touchdown that I don't quite understand that rule about a touchdown. So if you have the ball in your hand and your body crosses the pylon, that's how it was explained. It's a touchdown. That doesn't make any sense to me.
It's always been the ball, right?
That's what I thought.
I don't know.
But that was a pretty sick touchdown. I'm kind of glad he got rewarded for it because it was a great play.
Also, after Texas A&M's 4th and goal play call, I mean, they didn't deserve to win that football game anyway.
Well, also just not taking the points in the first quarter right before that drive, or two drives before that.
Yeah.
Take the points. It's the first quarter. Take the points. I'm glad they don't get to play an SEC championship game because they could have potentially snuck into the playoff and they don't deserve it.
No, they suck.
Not that Texas deserves any more of a shot, but much more than A&M.
Mm-hmm. God, I remember when they beat LSU and everybody was like, "Oh my God, this team is so good," and they've lost 3 in a row since then.
LSU's bad.
Yeah,
it looked tough for them last night too, and then Oklahoma just OU'd it up, which is crazy that it seems like we've already forgotten that Alabama got stomped by Oklahoma. Not beat, stomped, abused, which is fine.
Did LSU beat Oklahoma?
They did. Yes. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep. They did end up winning. I don't know. Did Nuss? I actually ended up falling asleep during the Texas A&M game. I won't say which business may have given me food poisoning. Not food poisoning. I'm not that sick, but it upset my tummy. I won't mention anybody by name, but I did.
Was it where we were at yesterday?
No, it was after that.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't feeling good, so I fell asleep during that Texas A&M game. I know Garrett Nussmeier went down, so I thought maybe Oklahoma had a chance, but yeah, no, they didn't. They didn't have a chance.
No.
It was a great day of college football, great weekend of college football. I don't know about you, it lost its luster for me. I didn't really, when Friday rolled around, I didn't really care much for it, but the Ole Miss Mississippi State game not being on Thursday kind of stunk, kind of ruined the weekend, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I was prepared for that, and then they played on Friday, and I was like, "Oh, they're not doing it on Thursday. I guess they're doing it on Saturday." But no, they played Friday, so why didn't we just do it on Thursday?
Yeah, I don't know, and I know it's not always been on. I know it's not always been on Thursday for its entire lifetime, but it has recently, and that's all. I'm like the committee. I just care about recency, which actually. No, we won't get into that. We won't do that. Guys, we are going to talk about one of the playoffs. We are going to recap that game that started out really, really, really scary. Gonna be honest, I walked into the place we were watching the game right as they were walking into the end zone. I jokingly said, "See you guys." I thought about actually leaving, but it's all right. We got it turned around.
That's all that matters.
It was all fine and dandy.
How you finish?
We'll talk about this weekend college football and anything else you want to talk about on this beautiful, cold, chilly, wonderful Sunday evening. But first, here's a little Levi Ogle.
Home run, slam dunks, give him 6. Boys at MII, they got your big orange face. All year long is the place to be to hear some balls for life talking Tennessee. Hate us if you want, but we sure ain't worried about you. We got more important issues.
Always the best. Can't wait to play that before a playoff game.
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
Danny told me they're gonna play that right before kickoff instead of what song is it now? It's
Is it Welcome to the Jungle?
I know it was for a while, but I don't think it is anymore. It's what is it?
I don't know.
I'm usually screaming, so I don't even pay attention. Yeah. I miss the They bring that back.
Ooh.
Yeah. Love a good, like, ooh, with the for the football. Just sounds great. Speaking of opening kickoffs.
Oh, God.
I'm convinced everyone on the field just thought it was in the back of the end zone or something. I mean, our guys were just kind of running straight, no real purpose. Still don't know where Josh Turbyville went after the kick. Nowhere to be seen.
I think he was another one that thought it was through the back of the end zone. There must have been the biggest gust of wind just blow that ball back.
I don't know, but one of my brothers apparently he saw a clip of the all 22 and he said, you can't even see him on there. He's like, you might've been right. He may have just went to the sideline. And Vanderbilt had no problem taking that one back. And then it kind of just all felt like it was going to tumble from there. You had 2 plays later, Dylan Sampson fumble, which after the last clip I saw, I still haven't seen it. After the last clip I saw, I thought maybe it was out before his elbow was down, but to not even go look at that in the booth is insane.
Yeah, I agree.
Joker in the booth. That is right. That is right, Joey. That is a kickoff song.
If I would think if they saw a angle where it might have been, I would think he'd make a bigger deal about it on the sideline.
And I couldn't hear because where we're at, they started talking about something that Josh Heupel can't review that for some reason. He can't ask for that to be reviewed. But I'd never, if anyone watched it on TV that heard that explanation from whoever was on the sideline, there was I just couldn't hear the full explanation that for some reason Josh Heupel could not ask for that to be reviewed or could not challenge it or something.
Still, you got to go nuts.
Sure, but he got his money's worth yesterday. I mean, he dropped a couple. You got to be effing kidding me.
I love those. But honestly, like when Dylan Sampson fumbles, like it sucks in the moment, but Tennessee has always bounced back from that.
That's so
we should have been like, okay, we're good. We got that out of our system.
Yeah, he's not even fumbled in a loss. He's only fumbled in wins.
Yeah. So, that was not ideal at all. It was. I don't know really what you do about it. I mean, he was going to the ground and then he just got to hang on to the football. I don't really know what else he could have done. I mean, besides hang on.
It's another one of those that the defender just makes a really good play at the last second. And
he's kind of laying on top of somebody and being held up.
You've got to be stronger there. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you also had a guy just make a really good play. You're not going to be immune to really good plays, no matter how well you play or how clean you play. Very unfortunate. Set him up inside the 30. And I mean, it wasn't easy. It took him 7 plays from there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a positive.
Tennessee and we have been catfished.
Okay.
I was under the impression that Diego Pavia was a really good football player. He sucks. He's horrible. He can't throw.
That's another thing.
He runs super high. Like he does run like good between the tackles and can bounce off some tacklers, but I would rather have like a third string running back in over him.
I mean, that's another thing that I was right about. I didn't think Tennessee would really have many issues with him. And the bulk of their positive drives, I mean, it's not like he did a whole lot. He did have 1 touchdown pass, but he put the ball in danger more than he did anything else. He only had 100 passing yards and 45 rushing yards. Nico was right there with him in rushing yards. And I mean, Tennessee made some big stops on some key downs that other teams that faced this Vanderbilt team couldn't do. And yeah, I mean, I think it kind of, looking back at the Georgia game, it blows my mind even more what Carson Beck was able to do on the ground when you prepare for a quarterback like that and you play like you're calling plays, like you have a quarterback who can hurt you with your legs. I just have a hard time believing Carson Beck's just head and shoulders above Diego Pavia as a rushing quarterback, and yet you let him do that to you. So that throws me for a loop right there. But I always said I just thought Georgia was a really poorly called game from Tim Banks.
Yeah. Well, it does help with Diego Pavia. Like, you are not concerned with that arm. I mean, we saw, like, his mechanics and the way he throws a football, I mean, it's hard to watch.
Sure.
To be honest.
And he doesn't have the weapons, but at the same time, it also goes to show what you can do with a little bit of pressure.
Yeah. But you also can bring a lot more pressure because you're okay with your safeties and your I thought they would utilize the tight end a little bit more. He had what? He had one catch for 15 yards. I think it was on third down. That was it. I mean, the way Georgia attacked Tennessee in the middle of the field with their tight ends, I thought that would be a huge, key in this football game, and they just could not or did not. I don't know. I don't know if Tennessee just took that away, but they played a lot of man coverage on the outside, and maybe that helps. You kind of can use that nickel and those safeties to help kind of bracket a tight end a little bit. But, I mean, they just took that away.
Yeah, and I mean, they tried to hit a bunch of the short, quick stuff over the middle early, which worked a little bit. But I also think you get down, and that's one thing that Tennessee's offense was able to do is put pressure on Vanderbilt's offense. It allows your defense to do things more freely when you make them have to go downfield. We talked about that Dylan Sampson fumble. Tennessee goes right down the field after that and scores a touchdown. Then Vanderbilt marches down the field fairly easily, but gets held to a field goal, which is huge. And then from then on until late in the second half, it was Tennessee's football game. Like Tennessee just their offense went out and ran. Nico threw one interception after Vanderbilt threw an interception. That was, by the way, I've thought about that play no less than 13 times today. That Jamal McCoy interception. He made a good play on the ball, but then also to just actually make the catch. A lot of luck involved, but also very heads up. And hey, Will Brooks had a chance on the play.
I thought Will Brooks was going to knock it off his chest.
Jamal McCoy has taken away yet another Will Brooks interception. That son of a bitch.
That dude's a stud.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how he ends up at Oregon State as a receiver and then somehow ends up at corner. Props to Oregon State for being like, okay, yeah, we need him at corner, not at
whoever
receiver.
made that move was very smart. You deserve a lot of credit.
Yeah. Jeremy Pruitt to do that, to make a decision like that and it be right. But then you land him and, had a good freshman year, but you're like, okay, well, like one of his picks was, I think it was like a last, 30 seconds trying to rush it, trying to force something. It just threw it right to him. But I mean, every play that he's made, I mean, that play where they call a horse collar, which is absolute horse shit, and that's something else we can talk about. I mean, he just makes really good football plays.
Yeah.
He's smart. He's athletic. He knows when to use his hands and when not to. He knows when to let go. Some DBs just have no clue when to let go, but he does and plays really well. I mean, he's been so impressive, and I've really enjoyed just having that. Like, Ricky Gibson has been great too, but having a guy like that where you can just like, hey, go take that guy away.
Yeah.
It's been a breath of fresh air.
It was also crazy that they kept throwing to him. And I guess based on who he was defending, that's probably, but at the same time, at what point do you stop just going his general direction?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know where he's out on the field, yet you keep attacking him. That's pretty bold. But Diego Pavia did say in pregame that he was going to win that game himself.
Dropped him back 100 times. They dropped him back 17, actually.
He also apologized to his receivers. I don't know exactly what he said, but to the effect of this ball's coming out too hot today. You don't have a chance. Yeah, I mean, good call. They didn't have a chance.
No. He was mostly talking about Jamal McCoy, I guess.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, you don't have a chance. Three's playing over there. Monty mentioned on Thornton's touchdown, which
the best thing about Jamal McCoy before we get off?
Yeah, what?
He comes back next year.
Yeah. It's a good point. That, I mean, right now Tennessee needs the best ability is availability because there are a lot of guys gone, but at least one more game. Yeah,
we're still in this season. I mean, recruiting and all that. I know there's a decommitment day. Who gives a crap? We're a playoff team, baby.
Yeah, Tennessee's 0-0 on the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's true, Landon. The next one's the only one that matters.
It's true.
Yeah, well, and hey, people across the country were saying this is a playoff game for Tennessee. So Tennessee's actually already won one playoff game. So you just keep that in mind. 1-0 in the playoffs.
And we need that home. We need that home game.
Each week you start 0-0. So we're good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Monty did mention on here, did you guys notice on that Thornton TD that Matthews did not have anyone 30 yards from him? I didn't notice it. I need to go back and watch it. I did realize that when he went to go look for a block, he had no one around him. So that makes sense.
But he was.
He was,
but there was no one around him. I mean, he just ran right past the corner. I guess the corner thought it was like a zone, like he had the flat.
Is that?
And then the safety thought it was man.
I don't know.
Because, I mean, he ran right by the corner.
They didn't defend Dante Thornton really either. So.
No. Yeah, it was kind of – Nico just had to hit one of them. It was going to be a touchdown regardless. But Mike Matthews, I enjoy the hustle and the effort on the block. Next time I would just refrain a little bit from just throwing a full shoulder pad into somebody to knock them down.
Why?
There will be a penalty.
I see people were saying that's a blindside block. I mean, they made eye contact. I think they were blowing each other kisses before. I mean, directly in his line of sight.
I'm with him. It shouldn't be a blindside block, but that will be called somehow, some way. It'll be called.
I feel like if they're going to call that, though, the only thing he can do is kind of like turn his back and get ran into, which is fine with me. But also, if they're going to call it, they're going to call it. He just can't touch anyone on that play then, which he didn't have to, it turns out.
Right. Yeah, he was gone.
But that's just not a football play to not make any play. So,
yeah,
I thought he made a good play on it. Yeah, maybe the only thing I'd change is lead with your hand so they don't even tempt him to throw the flag. But it wasn't a blindside. He ran directly from where Thornton was running.
Yeah. Yeah, I would just be careful because, like, as soon as he did it, knock somebody down, you're like, oh no, like, why?
Well, what scared you was a score alert popped up immediately, and for some reason, ESPN decided that at the bottom of the screen to pop up yellow score alerts was a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Geez,
that
what genius came up with that? Just stopping people's hearts.
Yeah, but he also there was
plays.
I forget who caught the pass. I think it was Nimrod. He made a really good block. I mean, the guy has done really well blocking, and I'm glad we were able to get him the football a little bit today, get him a touchdown. I think from here on out, he has to be a guy in the rotation, especially with Brew being hurt. Dante's, banged up a little bit. So I don't know kind of what they'll be like in like 3 weeks, but I got to think Mike Matthews has carved out some sort of role going forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that touchdown pass, I mean, I know we're going to get to Nico here in a second, but I mean, there's not a lot of time to just like read. He looks first, nothing. Second, immediately. I mean, without hesitation, as soon as his eyes go, ball is out. And just a beautiful play in the end zone.
You don't think Dante? I think Dante was his first. Wait, which touchdown?
Mike Matthews.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think Dante was definitely his first on that one.
He was looking outside, but I think he was just trying to take that safety away.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mike Matthews. I mean, the Mike Matthews touchdown was a good play. The Miles Kitselman one put it where it had to be. I mean, the only bad throw he made was that to Dante? That interception?
Right after McCoy's.
And let's just not ask him to underthrow balls anymore. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
a lot of his overthrows are plays receivers could have made, and we're asking him to underthrow it. And he underthrew it. He did what you all wanted him to do.
Yeah, receivers got to help him out too. If you know there's no shot you're catching
a pass interference, take the 15-yard penalty. Yeah. Take it. You should go take that guy's head off.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there should be no shot he makes that play with where Dante was.
Yeah. It was a bad pass, no doubt.
It was horrible.
But I mean, I
I
seriously,
mean,
out
not
of the
like
other 26, I think
overthrown
that was the only bad
inside.
one,
Yeah, it was really bad.
and it was really bad.
But it didn't hurt you too much because I'd rather that. I mean, obviously, than like a slant that you throw right in somebody's chest. Like, because you could use that as like a punt. Just throw it 70 yards down the field and have somebody else come up with it. I'd rather it be on third down than I think it was first down. But
I think they did end up turning the ball over on downs. I think that was the 4th and 2 that Will Brooks took Diego Pavia's head off.
Yeah, Pavia is. I think he's his. I guess him suing the NCAA. I think he's regretting that decision maybe a little bit. He's like, am I sure?
I'll go play Arena League next year. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm out.
I gotta play Tennessee again in Neyland. Nah, I'm good.
I would like to say, as we're only talking trash about this Vanderbilt team because they're our rival. So
And they're
college football playoff committee. No, Landon. College football playoff committee's listening. They need to know that is a respectable 6-6 opponent. That's a tough place to go and win a football game. That not a lot of teams can do that. Alabama being one of them. Alabama couldn't do it. And so I need that to be noted when you consider how big of a game and how big of a win this was. That's a very, very respectable opponent in a tough place to play. Not a lot of people can win on the West End.
Yeah, we also didn't need 8 overtimes to win at home either.
Against our rival. Yeah.
Correct. So
yeah.
We did spot on 14 points, but we were able to come back in regulation. So
yeah. No, that's I think all those things need to be remembered. And when they get into the hotel room conference, the ballroom at the hotel and discuss about seating.
Yeah.
Who is, we can keep talking about this. I have some questions about the playoff, but we're going to talk about that later. So no need to now.
I was going to talk a little bit more about Nico, and I think, was it Brent Hubbs, I think, had some sort of stat, and I thought about this today, like, what has really turned him around is that rush against Alabama.
Yeah.
That 20-something rush. Since then, he's thrown for 1,187 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 1 interception. And completed 68% of his passes since that run.
Well, and I'm sure this can be disproven all over the place, so I'm not going to put this as fact. But it feels like, keynote, feels like anytime something kind of bad happens early in the game, he seems to get going. He throws that interception against NC State earlier in the year, trying to hit Brew McCoy over the middle, bad decision, and then kind of rolled except for the one he threw that he got hit on. But again, that's really not to his fault more than a lot of things around him. Alabama, he didn't seem to be making quick decisions really until he got injured for that one play. What other game did he make something dumb early? Was it Kentucky? Or was it
Kentucky? We had a fumble. Or was it Florida where we had the exchange that went bad?
That was Florida on the first drive. But I think it was Kentucky because he and it may not have been a turnover similar to the Alabama one. It wasn't his turnover that really
Kentucky,
got him going.
there was a couple of overthrows, right? Is that what it was?
I'm sure. But it just feels like one missed play by him and he gets going in a game. Like it kind of settles him in. It's like, all right, well, that's out the door. Who cares now? And he gets to go out and just kind of sling it. And you had that intercept, as soon as that interception was done and gone, everything clicked after that. He looked great.
Well, I'm sure he was thinking, he's like, man, this is easy. They're not bringing any pressure. I can just sit back here as long as I want to. If nothing's there, I can just wait around long enough till one of the fat linemen come running at me and I can just get away from them and go pick up a first down.
Why'd you have to do that?
He was thinking it. I just said it.
Yeah, I think I think it just takes a minute to get rolling in each game. And I'm hoping this Vanderbilt kind of helps kind of catapult that confidence. Monty mentioned it. He gets fired up after that play to Kitzelman. And
I mean, we've said that from the get-go. Is like we need to see some emotion from, because like even when he makes a mistake, like he's very even kill. But like stuff like that, like him getting fired up like that, I feel like that needs to come out of it. Everybody just loves Diego Pavia because the man oozes confidence. And I'm not saying like you ooze confidence where you're a cocky prick like Pavia is, but I like how he's able to talk a little bit.
yeah, you want to see the juices get flowing sometimes.
You're a playoff team, man. You're a redshirt freshman leading a team to the playoffs in the SEC. You kidding me? You have something to be confident about.
Yeah.
And the kid's playing well. Really well. I mean, look out, because Nico's playing his best football. I think Tennessee is playing their best football right now.
They started that. That start, you
Yeah.
can't have that happen in a playoff game, home or away.
Yeah, well, Josh Turnerville kicked the damn ball out of the end zone.
I mean, yeah, and I think that's obviously unless that was just a miss kick, that needs to be pointed at Mike Eckler and Josh Heupel. Quit trying to pin him inside the 25. You have a guy that can kick it consistently out of the end zone. Let him do it, and if he doesn't because he mishits it, then you make the tackle after that. Don't plan to make the tackle.
Yeah.
Make them go 75 yards every time if they have to go 75 yards every time.
Yeah, it made me feel like it was a missed kick because it didn't seem like anybody was prepared for it.
Which is even crazier. See ball, go get ball.
You're right.
We run through the end zone every time and get close to the guy. Like, I think we're going to earn a 15-yard penalty. Why were we doing it on that play?
Yeah. I don't know where the guy was that was his lane. I mean, it opened. You could have. I mean,
it was just bad effort. I mean, if you watch everyone, they just kind of running straight. It looks like they're fitting. It looks like they're fitting it at a special teams practice on Thursday.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, you could have rode seriously like an elephant through that. I mean, it opened up like I don't even know what, some kind of gates. It opened up very quickly, and there was no one around.
It was open. That's the point.
Yeah, Monty said he would have scored. Absolutely.
You'd
outrun one person.
That was Monty, it. Not if I was kicking off. I would have at least tried to make the tie. I would have thrown my body in, just reckless abandon. You might have ran past me, but I would have tried. Oh man, that was heartbreaking. That was a heartbreaking start. I'm glad we got it turned around to we got it turned around to the point that a lot of people, and I'm glad, like you shouldn't be as miserable of a human as I am. A lot of people have forgotten that it happened.
Yeah, because you controlled the game after that. Yeah, Tennessee had 23 points, but one was a kickoff. Another one that we gave them the ball at like the 30-yard line. Other than that, they score 11 points.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Your math would be
9 points.
9 points.
9 points. Sorry. Yeah, 9 points.
Tennessee also had a safety in this game. That gets reviewed, but Dylan Sampson's fumble doesn't.
Right. Also, if you're that running back, how do you not just get upfield just a tad?
But why are they running a sweep? They ran like an outside sweep.
No clue.
They were on their own 4-yard line, 5-yard line.
But it's like he just kept running backwards, and I'm like, dude. I mean, obviously it's blown up. You just got to get upfield and get out of the end zone.
But you also somehow have to get around Tyree West to do so. That's just bad coaching, putting him in that position.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was crazy. The whole thing was bad coach, bad decision making, and then you have your running back not knowing what to do.
But I do think this game could have been a lot worse too. Like the way they were playing Nico, the way they were playing with these receivers. I mean, Tennessee did run 6 yards per carry. So that was another thing. They just couldn't stop anything. I think they kind of just, hey, let's end this, get out of here. You know, we are kind of injured a little bit. Let's have these 3 weeks off.
Well, we weren't for a while. I mean, we were letting Dylan Sampson run it late with Squirrel White in the game.
I know. Yeah, I didn't understand why we're just like. I mean, if you're going to run your offense, run your best player, throw the football too.
I like it.
I mean, just go full on. If you're going to keep giving it to Dylan Sampson, yeah, I don't like him getting the ball up 3 scores with like 5 minutes to go. That doesn't make me feel good.
Right.
Especially when you have Deshaun Bishop back. I mean, let him get all the carries he wants in this game with, let him kind of force feed him a little bit, get him back into shape.
Right. Right.
I mean, he didn't really look like he missed a beat, so it didn't really matter. Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that.
It was good to beat him. I'm glad I didn't go to Nashville.
It was good after the 14-0. It was fine after that. Yeah, no doubt if we would have went, that 14-0 probably doesn't get any better.
Right.
And that would have sucked. And it was freezing cold.
Was it that cold in Nashville?
I don't know.
I don't know what the weather was. Steven said, don't you think they were trying to feed Dylan for the SEC Player of the Year? Maybe, but that's not justifiable to me. You have a playoff to play.
Yeah. You're trying to win a national championship.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is
if Tennessee only had a bowl game left after that, sure, run them all you want. Like, we're not going to see them in that game. So whatever.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. So that's
when
bad,
a lot of people
bad
are
management
like,
if that's the case.
I think a lot of people were like, yeah, let's get the home playoff game. That would be great. But guess what? Like, you get a home playoff game, sure. Like, you win that. Like, you are trying to win a national championship. So giving the ball up 3 touchdowns to your best player, and then didn't he go out of the game after that? Didn't he get a little banged
he had
up?
been out of the game before that too.
Yeah, I think it would be different if you didn't really have a ton of people.
Well, and we were already down Peyton Lewis in that game too.
Yeah,
Deshaun Bishop came from the rafters. Didn't know he was going to play that game. Thank God he did. Take the load off a little bit. Yeah, not a great decision.
Yeah, he did have that was a tough week for him to, not get on the walker, and he kind of, I think, said that after the game. He was like, no offense to everybody that they got. He's just like, I feel like I was deserving. And then he puts up 178 yards, which I guess he was just he just picked up that many yards at a time. I did not think he had 178 yards.
No, that shocked me to see in the box score after the game for sure. It didn't feel like it was a pretty easy 178 yards because did not notice it.
I was like, Cedric Alexander's having a pretty good game. I mean, he had 60 yards.
Yep. Averaged 3.5 per carry. Dylan Sampson averaged 7.1. Deshaun Bishop back to his old ways, averaging 4.7.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
that's another thing.
He just falls forward.
4th and inches. I know you have that play, but you also have and you have your right guard climb to the second level when all you need is a few inches. Brother, you go right, you go left, you chip somebody. You don't not touch someone on the line of scrimmage on a 4th and inches play. I know someone's going to be like, Caleb doesn't know ball. No. You touch someone on the line of scrimmage. You find someone. I don't know where your help is because I don't know where assignments are in that play, but it's not at the linebackers. It's absolutely not at the linebackers.
Well, it's also you have one of the best players in college football as a running back.
He's not even on the field.
Not even on the field. Then you have another guy who I don't think was in the game at this point, He got it. This was his first game in, I think, or his first play in. And he runs like, I guess he was faking a sweep or something like that.
Yeah.
And they give it to Miles Kitselman. And I understand you score that against Georgia, but now people are expecting it. And you're giving it to somebody without – he has no momentum going forward. He literally takes one step and he's met.
Yeah.
Have somebody running downhill to get you in a couple inches.
And I'm assuming based on where Cooper Mays went, he assumed he would have help to his right as well, by the way. I would like to note that because he whiffed.
Yeah.
And yeah, tush push is fine with me. I would be A-okay with that.
Yeah, you
probably wouldn't work that play because we just whiff in the freaking A gap.
Yeah, I mean, Nico over the top, something. I just don't. I don't like that fullback dive. I just think that's
I don't mind it, but your assignments can't be that poorly ran. Because if the guy in the 3 technique gets touched, you have it easy. But he doesn't get touched.
I'll just like, I mean,
or sorry, the 1 technique, not the 3 technique.
Yeah, the guy that's got you there all season long. Why is he not on the field getting that play?
Yeah, no, agreed. Hindsight's 2020, but that's why we're here talking about it because it makes us look smart. So
yeah,
if you have anything else to say, you can just be quiet about it.
Another guy who showed up to me is Chris Brazzell. I thought that was a good game for him. He kind of, I think his first catch was that 3rd down that we desperately needed at that point and kind of got Tennessee rolling. I think the next play was the touchdown pass, the first touchdown pass to Dante. That was a huge play. 3rd and I think 14. They bring no pressure, and we just kind of wait for the play to develop and hit. Chris Brazzell makes a good play, gets his helmet ripped off, which I was under the impression if they see your helmet being ripped off,
automatic face mask.
Automatic face mask.
That's what we were told. We were told that. Yep. That's what we were told.
Not in this.
Nope. Not always the case, apparently, which is interesting because that was just 2 weeks ago. It wasn't like a lifetime ago or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty recent.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opposing fan bases that are like, oh, Tennessee only cries about the officials when they lose. No, actually, like, we kind of do it every week.
Yeah, no, I can find some bad officiating. Don't worry.
Yeah, Tennessee's won 10 games. I'm pretty sure it's been pretty consistent on this show this entire football season.
Sure.
How bad it's been. The Joshua Josephs.
You want to keep going on bad officiating?
Yeah, well, I was going to say Joshua Joseph's, his roughing the passer is.
Yeah, I thought part of that.
Dumb.
Thought part of that rule was like putting your weight into him when you fell. He didn't do that. So what did you get him for exactly? He took him to the ground. You can't take them to. He didn't fall on him. He didn't put his weight on him.
Well, what if Diego Pavia pump fakes?
Yeah.
And he still has the ball.
Then you have to do what James Pierce did, where you let him go and then make the tackle.
Yeah. It's so dumb.
Speaking of James Pierce, he is apparently impossible to officiate because that left tackle and him jumped, or right tackle and him jumped at the exact same time, and somehow James Pierce gets called for it. His reaction time's apparent. Like, he did not move until that guy moved. He was just that quick. And you called him for offsides.
Yeah. I don't know. And then the Jermod McCoy, the horse collar, he didn't bring him down by it.
Yeah, that one that's a bad call, but at every level of football I've seen, if you grab them there, they just auto call that. It's dumb. It's dumb.
Well, it's really dumb when somebody's getting stiff arm. Like, you'd rather somebody getting the stiff arm to the ground than make a tackle. Like, you're just trying to grab because, I mean, full hand and face mask. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
It's not like he just yanked him from behind. They were
right.
They were facing one another.
Right. He didn't get pulled down from the shoulder pad. It's an auto call. It blows my mind that's an auto call.
Yeah.
When a jersey getting ripped off a defensive lineman isn't an auto hold.
Yeah. And I do want to preface this, like, Tennessee earned a lot of penalties in this game.
Yeah.
But there was some calls that you're just like, what is going on? I mean, they had 13 penalties. They do a lot of stupid shit. John Campbell, what are you doing?
He's been playing too much Ultimate Team. That's what I do when I'm not the baller on Ultimate Team. I just come through, just flying through. I just hit
Barrel
someone.
over
I did it about 6 times today. It's my favorite move to pull. Yeah, it's crazy. And then for him to be like, "What did I do wrong?" That's
yeah.
Josh Heupel.
He's like, get off the field, you moron.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yes, Monty.
So many...
I forgot to count until I watched later in the day, but I also did not see the 3-second rule applied either, which was interesting.
Of getting off the field.
Yep.
Yeah.
No. It was presented on ESPN as it was 3 seconds to substitute is the rule. From the time the offensive subs, that's how it was presented to ESPN during the Georgia game. From the time the offense subs and you see their personnel, it's 3 seconds. That was not the case. I noticed it 2 or 3 times in the Alabama-Auburn game. It was much longer.
You brought up the score alert is really dumb. Having the official talk to the commentators about every single call,
especially when they're just
all they do is agree with whatever was called on the field, is the dumbest thing in sports.
It's very rare that they don't agree, and it's got to be egregious, like the Georgia-Texas play.
Yeah,
it's got to be pretty egregious.
Mm-hmm. There was another one too. Was there a pass interference?
You're talking about Chris Brazzell. Chris Brazzell earned a pass interference. He almost made the catch, actually.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if there was another one that was crazy in our game.
I thought Tennessee got it. Did they get a pass interference? Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking about Georgia just getting drilled and then
that was bad.
It was horrible. Bad. But I was like, hey, we've been there.
Yeah. That one was pretty atrocious. Don't know how that goes uncalled. There were a lot of bad calls in that Georgia Tech game. It was some pretty tough. I don't know if that was an ACC or an SEC crew. That was I would assume SEC since it was at Georgia, but I'm not sure exactly how that works. That was tough.
Yeah.
I don't know of any other just bad officiating mistakes this week, and I would like to complain some more if I could. Not just in the Tennessee game, but in all of college football.
Well, I guess like after the Michigan-Ohio State game, everybody was like, hey, whatever happens in the game, whatever, but we got to worry about after the game. Yeah. That's when we go to work. Really step in, yeah.
Oh, I mean, state troopers were like, we can just mace people now? I'm in.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty funny to see the Ohio State dude put his helmet on and then run over to get the flag. That should be like premeditated assault. He knew what he was doing. If you put your helmet on before that, you know what's going down.
I mean, I don't know what they're doing at Michigan that just makes people want to like give up their whole entire life for Michigan football, but that manager who like rips the flag away and is like fighting with Ohio State players to like keep it.
I didn't see that.
He has a backpack on. He runs and like takes it, and he's like trying to like look. He was like trying to run through like a that it has like all those arms in that like running back drill kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of looked like what he was trying to do, and they're just trying to rip it from him. I'm like, number one, this poor student manager is like 160 pounds, just running through here with his flag, trying to get it back from Ohio State players. So I don't know what Michigan does to just make people want to give up their entire life. I mean, Connor Stallions, the student manager. I don't know. It's crazy.
Connor Stalions like helping Michigan from the grave, though.
Oh, I know. Still giving his all, baby.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that. Did you see the Cal? The Cal player or Cal manager tackle someone that tried to steal a helmet after they stormed the field?
Oh, yeah.
Week? That was pretty sick.
And then they honored him.
Yeah, they did like the same thing Georgia did with their punter.
They should have put him on scholarship. Well, Johnny said apparently that was a former Michigan player who's a reporter now.
Well, dude, shout out to Fox. There were so many. They kept the cameras rolling. There were on field, like there were field level cameras working during that. They were in the mix. That was awesome. That was the best part of that is that nothing went uncovered. It wasn't like a field streaker where they cut away immediately. They're like, no, all eyes here. This is what people came to see.
I love that Pat Forty got pepper sprayed. I mean,
he did it. I saw he might have. He did.
He tweeted. He said he got secondhand pepper sprayed.
So you did or you did?
Yeah.
I'm calling crap. He didn't get pepper sprayed. You either did or you didn't get pepper sprayed. There's no secondhand.
He probably walked by somebody like way after the fact that had got pepper sprayed.
He got
like,
like
oh my God.
It.
Yeah, I smelled it. It was actually a fart. He thought it was pepper spray.
Yeah, you know if you got pepper sprayed. Yeah, Monty, we talked about that Manning touchdown. It was pretty sick. It was a great run. Ball in the left hand, touching the palm with his right. Yeah, I don't see how that's a touchdown. But I will say on the last review they showed, it looked like the ball, the tip of the ball, went just over the pylon and then his right hand actually hit it. So I guess at least it was probably a touchdown how I understand it. Because otherwise, I don't get how the rule is you touch it with some part of your body.
Yeah.
I don't know. I swear they make up rules as they go along.
Whatever. You didn't really need that touchdown anyway because Texas A&M, they weren't planning on scoring. So,
did you see the guy riding a Longhorn with his dog through campus Saturday?
No.
Ball chasing. That was pretty sick. Kind of makes sense how he was asked to leave. In fact, I didn't know you could just ride a Longhorn. That is something I learned today. Did not know that was one of the animals you could put a saddle on and ride. The goal line extends out of bounds is the rule.
So you can just jump from like the 2-yard line out of bounds?
Well, then why do people stick the ball out there? Why don't they keep it tucked and just stick out their right arm?
I thought it has to cross.
See, that would make sense, right? Couldn't you just dive, keeping your ball in your left hand and just stick your right hand out? Like if you did why wouldn't everyone do what Arch Manning did then?
Yeah, why is everybody like diving out and with the ball hitting the pylon?
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, doesn't really matter because Texas A&M was not planning on scoring. So
I am curious. I like to know the rules. Right. I know that's what Manning did. Why doesn't everyone do that is my question. I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me. Because then it seems like wouldn't touchdowns where the player catches it in the end zone, but the ball's out of the end zone, wouldn't that be a touchdown then? Oh, I believe you. They said it on the broadcast, Monty. I'm just saying that rule doesn't make sense. Oh, whatever. All right. I know we mentioned some guys. Who are some other guys who impressed? Who impressed during that game?
I thought Arion Carter played really well in this football game. He had a big pass deflection. I thought he kind of followed around the ball all day long. He flew around. He also, I think somebody tweeted the video of it. Him tackling Jackson Moy in the backfield was pretty awesome too. Did you see that?
Say that one more time. Sorry.
He tackled Jackson Moy in the backfield.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think it was right after the 4th down play, and just Jackson Moy wasn't really in the play, but got fired up, which I'm all for. And then Carter just comes over and just ear holes him. Well, friendly fire there.
I love friendly fire just as a term.
Another guy, dude, I love watching Joshua Josephs play.
Yeah, no, he is an athlete. I'm glad. I wish he wasn't so streaky. I feel like he pops up every other game, you know?
Well, it's weird. Like, at times you don't know who's in and who's not.
No, they rotate a lot.
Yeah, it's like, is he in this play or is he not? Like, I feel like everybody's kind of streaky because of that. Yeah, he's fun to watch. That's kind of all I had for. I thought Dante Thornton obviously played well. I mean, he's a touchdown machine. 3 catches, 2 of them were touchdowns, 118 yards. I mean, he got tackled one time.
Right.
So, yeah, that's kind of all I got for that. Tennessee does take care of business in Nashville, which is something that, you know, when it's 14-0, you're like, oh my God, like we really can't win on the road. Like this is real. But I think there is maturity on this football team, and they were able to get back in it and kind of cruise after that. And then obviously, like, yeah, did you want to lose to Arkansas and Georgia? But looking back on it, you don't have to play next week. Kind of get healthy for the playoffs and potentially get a home playoff game. I guess we'll know. I guess we kind of know for sure on Monday or on Tuesday. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes.
Technically, I guess we should
know for sure. As long as Tennessee is in the top. As long as Tennessee is number 6 or higher, we'll know, because 2 of the teams, Big Ten, SEC, 2 of the teams in front of us, Big Ten, SEC, will both get either bye weeks or home playoffs, presumably. Because it's Georgia, who that loss shouldn't hurt them. It can only help them. So they'll be at worst where they're at. Penn State, same deal.
Is that true though?
They said that loss. Did they not say they won't punish teams for an SEC championship loss?
Well, I think out of playoffs, right? They'll still be in the playoff at some capacity, but I don't think it.
I don't think.
Because if Oregon blows the doors off Penn State, there's no way they don't drop.
Right, but there's no way that team's playing that game next year if it could punish them.
Like, they'll still be in the playoffs, but I don't.
Right, but you lose a home playoff game. That's punishment.
Which I guess they're probably not getting they'd probably still have a home playoff game regardless.
Probably, but still, I don't think. I think if you are in home playoff range, I don't think you can drop from it. Because
I think Penn State, like, I hope they prove me wrong, but I think they are the most fraudulent team in that whole upper part of that.
Probably so. And I don't think they necessarily deserve it if they get blown out by Oregon. But again,
like, why did Indiana drop so much and Penn State didn't?
They said, yeah, it doesn't make much sense because, I got to imagine their schedules are very similar in terms of strength of schedule. I don't think you can. I don't think you can drop them out of a home playoff, no matter the score. If you say that game can't punish you, then that game can't punish you. How do you decide between dropping out of a playoff and losing a home playoff game, which we all understand is a massive advantage? Why would you play? So if you're Penn State and you're ranked number 3 in the country going into that game, the only thing you gain is an auto bye by not playing in it. would you not take the home playoff in that scenario? If you could potentially lose home playoffs? Would you not just take, because you're going to have to play an extra game no matter what now at that point?
Yeah, I'm with you, but I just took it as like it could affect seeding.
Maybe it can, but if I'm a team, if I'm Penn State, if I'm Texas, Georgia, if I'm Oregon, I'd say, all right, we're not playing in it.
Yeah, because like fine. You're in the playoff, but that's the thing too. I don't.
If I have to play the conference championship game, and I'm not guaranteed an auto bid, then I should be guaranteed home field advantage if I already have it. I shouldn't be dropped for it. At that point, me and Oregon are playing for the auto bid. Me and Georgia and Texas are playing for the auto bid. Like if we have home field, we have home field. And if I'm the head coach and athletic director, that's how I would operate. And if you're gonna give me the chance to lose home field, then we'll scrap the chance of the auto bid. We'll say we'll play the game and we'll take the home field. Like Tennessee gets presumably, if you're looking at the rankings, and if let's go by the AP poll. If you go by the AP poll, Tennessee has home field, I believe. Hold on, let me move it back here. So let's say we're going by AP right now. So Oregon won the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. They're number one. Let's say Georgia won the SEC. They're 2. That's Oregon. So then you have Penn State. Let's call them 5. Let's call Texas 6. Notre Dame 7. Tennessee's at 8. If you go by the AP, that puts Tennessee as home field. Well, they don't have to play in a playoff game or in a conference game. So why do they get auto home field? But we could drop back to 9 or 10. I'm not playing in it. Tennessee can go play in it for me.
Well, that makes me think, did Ohio State do this on purpose? Did they lose to Michigan on purpose?
But they may have lost home field doing that.
Well, that's going to be the issue for me. If Ohio State on Tuesday night, when they do the rankings, if they have a home playoff game, they are rewarding Ohio State for losing that football game.
Sure. I can see that point of view.
They don't have to play next week, and they still get a home playoff game.
Sure.
It's a win-win. I mean,
I don't except for Ryan Day, who's now lost 4 in a row.
Well, and that's the thing is like no one at Ohio State right now wants him there.
Right. But it is one of the top 7 places to play in college football. That's why the last 2 times they played, they've lost their rival there.
Yeah.
Couldn't be Tennessee. Last 2 times we played our arch rival, we've won at home.
It's true. But I just know how they're going to screw Tennessee out of that home playoff game and give it to Ohio State. And literally 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, you dropped Georgia from number 3 to number 12 because they lost on the road at Ole Miss. And it wasn't very close. They kind of beat down on Georgia. And so you're not going to – Ohio State was at 2. You're going to drop them to what?
7, presumably.
7? 5 spots for losing at home to your biggest rival? In the last game of the season, like that was it. All they had to do was win that game.
Yep.
There needs to be some sort of punishment.
Agreed. And Jonathan said what I think is what I'm saying in all this. Championship games are meaningless. They have been 100%. Made meaningless by this playoff. College football needs a massive restructuring. There's no way you can keep teams in it without promising them the chance to win something and lose nothing.
Yeah,
there's zero chance.
It's just like the SEC tournament in
you want to know that what you've done so far is secure. Otherwise, if I'm Penn State and I know we probably don't have a great chance to win, I'm mailing that game in. And if the committee has something to say, I go, listen, our team's healthy, but we were banged up going into this one. We needed a couple days off. I didn't want to hurt my guys when I got a chance at a playoff.
You know what I would
if you think that takes me out of contention to host a home field, so you make that call, but there won't be people playing in this game next year if you think so. Like that's what I do. I dare them to do. I dare them to do it. If I'm any of these teams in the conference championship game, Georgia, Penn State, Texas, Oregon. I dare them to do it. Because there's too much money in those games for the ADs. You remember, the athletic directors and presidents run the NCAA. They run this committee. They will not let those games become meaningless, but they are.
Well, you know what I think would be a cool thing to do, and I don't know how you make this work, but if, say, like there was one more spot for the SEC and it's up for Alabama, South Carolina, make them play
Agreed.
in that game.
They're playing games.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that I think more people would tune into that than they are a meaningless
It's a playoff
SEC
game at that point.
championship.
It's an
Yeah.
actual playoff game at that point.
Yeah. I think that's where, like, if it's a huge money grab for the SEC championship, then have like two teams just fight for that.
I'm kind of like all for that anyways. You just say at the end of the year, okay, the SEC and Big Ten, they already have four of the top 5 teams. You guys will give you an auto bid for the last 2 spots or something. I don't know how you calculate that every year. Again, it just needs a massive overhaul. There shouldn't be a spot for the non-power 4s. They should have their own tournament. Notre Dame, you don't get a spot until you join a conference. Sorry, you're out, you're done. And yeah, just needs a massive overhaul where you can get those quote unquote play-in games, where the next you have so many bids from every conference, and it becomes the AFC and NFC at that point, but that's what you have to do. Like, that's what you're gonna have to do.
Yeah.
That's the nature of where it's at. It is.
And I think your two like G5 team, your top 2 G5 teams, let them do a playing game.
I like that. Of course, right now, now it looks like
Notre
Boise
Dame
doesn't
should
get an auto bid.
have to play a playing game every single year.
Yeah, I agree. They play your non-power 4. There you go. They're the number 12 seed. Whoever wins that, Notre Dame in your top power 4.
I think they should play the second team in the ACC. If they kind of want to play an ACC schedule, sometimes I guess when they want to. I don't know how that works, but like SMU, you're in. Notre Dame, you play Clemson to get in.
Which, by the way, Syracuse head coach, don't know your name, and that feels incredibly disrespectful. To drop the "You're welcome, Dabo" all time. I don't know how Showering came to be in that interview, but
Fran Brown?
Is that his name?
Oh yeah.
Seems like a Fran Brown move. All time to drop that in there.
Yeah, congrats. I got you, baby.
He wouldn't have known at that point that Clemson lost either. He didn't know that doesn't affect obviously the ACC, but he didn't know how bad Dabo's day was at that point.
Yeah, you would.
No, they would have been kicking off by the time they lost.
Oh. I mean, he probably maybe somebody told him.
You think he checked that at halftime? You think he checked to see what Clemson was up to at halftime? No way.
Well, it's probably announced in the Carrier Dome, if I had to guess.
Not if Tennessee's crew's running that one.
I got you, baby. I'm going to text that to my wife tomorrow.
I love that you said Penn State's the most fraudulent. Miami's the most fraudulent 10-2 team of all time.
Well, they're not in. They're gone.
Right. That's fraudulent, it is crazy to look at. Okay, South Carolina jumps Miami. Again, maybe some recency bias involved because, South Carolina's obviously done some impressive things. The beaten Texas A&M, who looks fraudulent, beaten Missouri, who has no business being ranked 23rd at the time and never should have been ranked. And then obviously that win over Clemson's big, but they got blown out by Ole Miss. They did play Alabama close. I do think we should be able to retroactively go back and say, okay, South Carolina beat LSU at this point. We should go, yeah, the refs screwed them out of that one.
Yeah.
I think you should be able to say they should be 10-2.
I just love that the whole thing of like the SEC just isn't as good as we thought it was because of last week. But literally, Clemson is like the number 3 team in the country if they don't play an SEC team.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And it's not like South Carolina is one of the top SEC teams either. Yeah, in November, don't get me wrong, which is coincidentally when Clemson plays them.
Honestly, I do not like Shane Beamer. No. I like him a lot more than I do Eli Drinkwitz, though.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy choice. They're still hanging around, though. They're in playoff contention if you look at 9-3. There's a lot of 9-3 teams that are right there on the cusp. Alabama's in if it played tomorrow. Aren't they? Or no, the Big 12 would kick them out. Big 12 winner, right?
So Missouri is still in it, right?
Yes, they're in the mix.
Gotcha.
Oh, well, Arizona State's at 12. So, yeah, Alabama would be in according to the AP poll. AP and Coaches Poll, they'd be in because the Big 12 winner would get in at, would be the 12th, quote-unquote, 12th team in. Which is crazy that a team not ranked in the top 10 is probably going to be auto bid. Well, no. Yeah, Boise State would be right at top 10. An auto bid buy.
Yeah.
I'm kind of out on auto bids. I don't like them anymore. Or top auto 4 seeds. I'm out on auto 4 seeds.
Yeah, I just think it should be your top 4 teams.
This structure, I love the 12-team playoff.
Because if you go undefeated in the ACC or the Big 12, you're going to be one of those top 4 teams.
Sure.
So
I love the 12-team playoff. I don't like the structure of the 12-team playoff. And again, it's because ADs and presidents are winning it, and they're protecting theirs and their teams and their conference's best interest, which, again, is why they won't let Penn State or Texas or Oregon or Georgia not host if they lose. It will not happen.
I think it all boils down to Notre Dame just should not be in the playoffs.
I mean, yes, you know me, which I've had to be wrong about that. People like to say I don't like to admit when I'm wrong. I was wrong about. I said they were fraudulent. They're not fraudulent, but they don't play in a conference. That is a fact that they cannot argue with, no matter how they play on the field. And yeah, I'm moving the goalposts. Sue me. I'll move them where the hell I want. I'll throw them in the freaking river if I want to.
Well, the committee's going to move the goalposts for Ohio State and say like Michigan's a good loss.
Michigan's a great football team.
Yeah,
a great football team. That's why Landon. I tried to remind them at the beginning of the episode. You wouldn't let me. Vanderbilt is an excellent football team too that has just as many, if not more, impressive wins than Michigan.
They beat Alabama. Texas didn't do that.
Texas couldn't. They didn't play Alabama this year.
Honestly, I think Oregon's the only team in front of Tennessee right now in the AP poll that has a better best win than Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt's Georgia, our best win?
Nope. Notre Dame, nope. Penn State, absolutely not.
Georgia beat us.
Yeah, but they didn't beat Alabama.
Or Vanderbilt.
They
didn't play Vanderbilt this year, right?
I don't know.
I think they did.
Probably not.
Vanderbilt did. This was my friend. This is another reminder that I just like the Notre Dame one. I won't let go. People all year, look out for Vanderbilt. They're really good. Look out for Vanderbilt. And I was nervous about this game. Don't get me wrong. But they lost to Georgia State.
Bad officiating.
How do we forget that? They did beat Auburn, which is hilarious. Who beat Texas A&M?
Well, I think USC was going to upset Notre Dame, and then they throw a stupid pick 6. That's another thing. Lincoln Riley, good God.
Yeah, people were talking about him being out, and I was like, no way he'll be out. Yeah, he might be out.
Dude, he sucks. How are you that bad in L.A.?
Yeah, tough scene. Tough scene.
It would be different if UCLA was some powerhouse. Like, those kids were like, I'll go anywhere else except the school's right here. I don't understand.
Have we complained about the new overtime rules enough yet?
No, we can. That is extremely dumb. And wasn't the whole point of them to so they would shorten overtimes?
Yeah, now we're playing minimum of 8.
Yeah. And then we have Georgia Tech where they just can't decide if we want to score this one or not. Most of the time it was no.
I also love that they just refuse to run the ball from 3 yards out.
I think my favorite thing was it was like 4 overtimes in and no one had scored.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too much. I think we should go from the 25 one play. Whoever scores first wins.
God, no. We'd be there for years. Also, how mad are you if Georgia if that keeps you out of the playoff? Because they would have to be behind Bama.
Yeah.
I know we don't really follow rules around here, college football committee, but they'd have to be. I mean, it's that's crazy that could have kept them out of the playoff. That would make me irate. Just have ties at this point. Just do it like the NFL. If you make it a 3 overtime, just call it a tie before you do that.
Yeah, but how much money was Texas gonna make to lose that game in the SEC championship to make sure Georgia got into?
Wait, what?
I mean, Greg Sankey was going to move mountains for Texas to make sure Georgia got into the playoff. If they lost to Georgia Tech and then played in the SEC championship.
You're right. Fair point. Yeah. Which that's a good thing. We did start getting a friendlier whistle after the half. Greg Sankey didn't think he had to tell those boys anything. Turns out he did, and we appreciate that. We got some friendly whistles.
Love that. Big win for Tennessee. Huge win.
Yeah. Not everyone can beat.
I will say this, Tennessee made Vanderbilt not look very good, but it was a 3-point game with Texas, and they beat Alabama on that same field this year. So the fact that Tennessee, Caleb, that doesn't help my argument. Okay, just let me have this one.
I can't not remind people of that. You know me. I think that's a great win. I think that's a great win. You know me. I will say this for Vanderbilt on a real note. It is pretty impressive that 2 years ago, they got blown out by ETSU at home. And then they finished this year at 6-6 with a win over Alabama. It's pretty.
You know what's also crazy?
Win over Auburn.
They beat the number 1 team in the country. If they don't win that game, they're not bowl eligible.
That's wild. That is wild. Mainly because they lost to Georgia State.
Should Georgia move back because of it took 8 overtimes to beat Georgia Tech?
I think so.
I think so.
I think that should be noted. Not mentioning how we got to 8 overtimes, just that it took 8 overtimes.
Exactly.
That's a great point that shouldn't go overlooked. Oh, if we get a home playoff game, that tailgate's going to be cold as hell, and it's going to be awesome.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. I'm going to have like 14 layers on, but it's going to be worth it. We'll have the smokeless.
I'll just be sitting in my car with it running.
Yeah, the smokeless solo stove. I think it has more smoke than just a regular fire.
Yeah, you think it's you don't think it's real?
No. I mean, like, Deuce wore his sweatshirt yesterday, and it still had black stuff all over it from where, like, the wood was burning on everybody.
Sounds like just bad wood y'all had. Wet wood.
I don't know what it was.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We just need to. So, is there a possible way, if Tennessee is not getting a home playoff game come Tuesday, there's no way, in your opinion? We don't know for sure, obviously.
We don't know for sure, but I don't see how, because again, it would screw over conference championship games.
Yep.
It would absolutely screw over conference championship games. I would not play in it if I lost my chance to host because I had to play in that game.
Correct. But losing to a 6-5 Michigan team at home should definitely cause you to lose your home playoff game.
Yeah, that's different, right? You play in the regular season. That schedule was set a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm just putting this out there for the committee because they obviously listen to the show, so that way they know like this is logical,
right? And I mean, when you look at it, like Tennessee didn't lose in basketball; they didn't lose anything by losing the first round of the SEC tournament this year. Like, right? When you look at that, they were in no worse position going into the NCAA tournament than they were before the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
It could only improve their stock.
Correct.
They didn't punish us for losing in the first game we played, I should say.
But you should be punished if you lose to a 6-5 Michigan team at home.
Yes, if you lose in the regular season. Losing in the regular season is different than losing in your conference tournament.
Right. When you score 10 points.
Yeah.
When you
on a team that turned it over 3 times in the red zone.
Correct. Obviously, and you also have you had one of the best quarterbacks out of the portal, one of the best running backs out of the portal. You have the best receiving core in the country, and you throw for 175 yards. You do not deserve to have a home playoff game.
You don't. No, you don't. Tennessee
and I know Ohio State fans are going to be like, we beat 2 top 10 teams. Yeah, 2 top 10 teams that everybody knows who shouldn't be in the playoff if they play anybody with a pulse.
Right. Yeah, you got it. I think you understand it.
So, yeah, just get his own playoff game. That's all we're asking.
That's it.
All the AP. It's just laid out for you. Just copy and paste, man.
Yeah.
We're letting you cheat this one time. All right.
Yeah, it's simple. Don't make it more difficult. Make it easy.
Do we talk about any more? Do we talk about all of college football? Or
there's no way. I mean, and honestly, this week was kind of so crazy. I don't know if I possibly could.
Yeah. Indiana did put it on Purdue, which good for them, but Purdue sucks.
Purdue sucks. But hey, we can bust them back out.
Yeah.
You're still alive, baby. In my mind, you're still alive.
I do like Arizona State.
Okay.
I like Cam Scatterbo.
Okay. Usually his name, but okay.
White running back.
Yeah.
I think they're a good football team. That was also a game where it could get weird, like Michigan, Ohio State. And they said, no, we're not as bad as Ohio State. We're going to beat our rival on the road 49-7. So there you go. BYU beat Houston 30-18.
So it's BYU and Arizona State in the Big 12 title. And that's the playoff spot. They don't get anybody else. It's just those 2 teams.
You had Colorado just put it all over Oklahoma State.
Right.
And you're like, man, if y'all just didn't suck, like
here is what could create mass chaos.
Uh-oh.
In the college ball rankings that it needs to be mentioned. Boise State will be ranked in the college ball playoff somewhere in the top 12.
Mm-hmm.
Presumably 11-10 range. They were 11th going into this weekend. Let's say they lose in the conference championship game. They play UNLV.
Okay.
Do they get punished for losing that game? Because if not, they're in. But that also puts the highest ranked non-Power 4, who would probably be Tulane, or could be UNLV, into the college football playoff as an auto bid, but also puts Boise State in.
I think they have to win, right? But then that sets the stage where it's like you can be punished.
Correct.
If you punish Boise State,
Correct.
you have to punish everybody.
Correct.
Yeah, that's going to be wild.
You shouldn't be eligible to be ranked in the college football playoff. Top 12,
You know, it would be
you're a
funny
non-power
if they
team.
didn't and they put UNLV in, which it wouldn't really matter to Tennessee because
They're in.
they're already ahead of Boise
Be us
State.
being left out. It would be Alabama or yeah.
That would be awesome.
So yeah, I think we're lobbying for you can't punish conference. You can't punish anyone in conference championship week.
I'm in.
Perfect.
I'm in for punishment.
No punishment. We need Boise State to be ranked, UNLV to win, Tulane to win, because that's an auto bid. You have to put them in. That's in the bylaws. But what's not in the bylaws is what do you do if Boise State loses that week? We need no punishment in the conference.
Oh, no
championship.
punishment.
No
Okay,
punishment.
then that gets Alabama out.
Zero punishment.
Unless Tuesday Tennessee is not hosting a playoff game, then we want punishment.
I think I take Alabama getting left out for two non-power 4 teams. So honestly, I'll travel to Indiana or Columbus. Like, let's do it.
Oh, we can't go to Columbus. Fear for my life.
Get maced wherever you walk.
Yeah.
I think it sets up perfectly for Alabama to get left off. I do think that creates a level of chaos that I don't know if they thought through enough. They did not have the foresight to see through.
Yeah.
If they're smart, they just go ahead and rank Boise State number 13 to be real safe, which would be okay. And I think that would be the smart thing to do. That's what they need to do. They should have never ranked them in the top 12. They screwed themselves. It's not like they were okay with putting Tennessee and Georgia ahead of them. They should have just went ahead and put Clemson ahead of them. Should have put Alabama ahead of them already.
But
they screwed themselves.
Is it not the highest ranked G5 team?
But that's not the only G5 team that can get in. The highest ranked G5 conference champion is an auto bid.
Are you sure?
Almost certain.
I think it's just the highest G5 is in.
Because the highest ranked conference champion could be a G5 team.
It would still be Iowa State plays Arizona State for the
okay. I thought BYU got in after beating Houston.
I think they needed Iowa State or Arizona State to lose. But yeah, I thought it was just the highest rated G5 team. So either way, it's going to be Boise State.
So the 5 highest ranked conference champions earn auto bids. The 4 highest will be seeded 1 through 4.
I have no clue. I have no idea. I was just under the assumption that it was. And usually that's going to be a conference champion.
I think it's the group. Usually it's going to be a conference champion, but it could potentially not be.
Okay, so it is just the highest G5?
From everything I've read so far, it is 12 teams will be selected to the playoff field, with the 5 highest ranked conference champions earning auto bids. And since there's only 4 power, the 5th would be the. See, that reads it doesn't even have to be power 4. Like if it was Boise State and Tulane were ranked higher than ACC, for example, the Big 12 this year, which it won't be, but. See what?
I don't know. I don't know that rule.
I'm reading, so do what you need to do.
You're good. I'll get into most important real quick. Keep this show on the road. I did have Fran Brown post game. Hey, Dabo Swinney, congrats. I got you in, baby. I mean, just guys being dudes kind of moment. Also, Dabo has that heartbreaking loss, and he somehow was like, oh my God, I get to have a chance to get in.
Yeah. Real quick, this is from the collegefootballplayoff.com. The 4 highest ranked conference champions will be seeded 1 through 4 and will receive a first round bye. The 5th conference champion will be seeded where it was ranked or at number 12 if it is outside the top 12 rankings. Non-conference champions ranked in the top 4 will be seeded beginning at number 5. Because of this, the seeding 1 through 12 could look different than the final rankings. So it is the conference champions get the auto bid.
Okay. So
that was the 4 highest rankings. So the 12 participating teams will be the 5 conference champions ranked highest by the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, plus the next 7 highest ranked teams. Yep. There you go.
So the G5 doesn't, they would get in, right?
It is, yes. So it's, but the way that reads, let's just go down the AP and let's leave off a team. Well, that really shouldn't be too hard. Well, SMU, it'll be the Power 4 will be all ranked higher than, but let's say if Boise State doesn't win it right now this week in the AP, it would be, last week in the College Football Playoff, it'd be Tulane if they won the American. And then does Boise get the auto bid or not? Does Boise get the bid where they're at or not? Or who does that bump? Right now, that would bump Clemson, according to last week, who would, in this scenario, let's say Miami, who's not playing in it. Let's say SMU won it. Let's go to AP. That'd make it easier.
Well, I guess like with Boise State, they don't have an auto bid, so they have to win it regardless.
But again, they have them ranked in the top 12. They have them ranked at number 10 if we go by AP this week. They wouldn't be bumped by that auto bid 5th. It would be Arizona State would be bumped by that if they didn't win.
I don't know.
Right now, if you're number 12, presumably you could not get in because there's a non-G5 champion out there that could get in over Boise State if they don't win it. UNLV has a chance to go into season. Or not. Maybe they just have a chance to keep someone else's season alive, depending on what the College Football Playoff says.
I'm just thinking Boise State has to get an auto bid, they have to be a conference champion.
To get an auto bid, yes. But if we go by AP this week, which I know isn't going to be exact, but even last week they were at number 11, which puts them in going into this week no matter what.
I don't know.
I really don't know either. But I just wanted to mention it because, again, if they do what they say they're going to do and not punish, or if they say what they're going to do, they're going to say it doesn't remove their playoff chances.
I don't know. Let's go. You got any most importance?
Yeah, hold on one second.
Also, if you get a chance to go on our YouTube, subscribe, please.
Yeah.
And then go check out our most recent sit down with VFL Connor Pavoloni in the Orioles organization, and just been a great ambassador for Tennessee. Been a great friend of ours, so please go check that out. Really awesome just to hear him continue to talk about like the baseball program and just like what Tennessee means to him. It's really cool. So please go check that out. Also subscribe. That would be cool. Trying to boost up that YouTube a little bit, so we'll have plenty more. Also, shout out to Iguani Farms, the new hat.
Sick hat.
shout out to our boys, friends of the pod. So, any more most important?
I go back like all the way forth. This has been a long weekend. It's been awesome. I hope everybody's enjoyed their holiday and weekend. I know we weren't here Thursday because of the holiday, so I really do hope you guys got time off from work, at least some of it, and got to enjoy it. Where was I at?
We did have one question too. I want to get to that at some point. I'll go ahead and ask that real quick. What's best case scenario first and second round matchups for Tennessee that are realistic? I think best
First round. Is that what they said? First and second?
First and second.
I don't even know how to begin predicting second round matchup.
Yeah, first round, I think like, I mean, I wouldn't hate going to. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't think that like helps Tennessee very much, but
It definitely doesn't.
if I'm going to have to go on the road, like Notre Dame probably wouldn't be the worst place.
Sure. I'd be okay with that.
And then if we're hosting, I think Indiana would be a team I would welcome in here with open arms and then destroy them.
Yeah, I'd be cool with that.
I think that's, I mean, your most realistic matchups, I think, are Ohio State. I've seen Notre Dame. I've seen Indiana. So I would think those three teams. I know Georgia's predicted there right now, but I just don't see how that plays out. Yeah, it could be Penn State. Penn State could be one. I don't really want to go to Penn State, but we'll see kind of what the committee does and if they do punish anybody for the big or the conference championships. We'll see, but I got to think like
somebody's got to get punished. Is kind of, but it again. It just sets a bad. Yeah, you can't. You almost can't.
Yeah, but I do think it's a Big Ten team. Probably.
Probably. My first most important is the guy that my only this week. I don't even remember who said it. That said Gus Malzahn. UCF was in a better position when Josh Heupel left. Apparently, he owned up to it. He was like, "Yeah, I'm wrong. We need more of those. We need some more. I'm wrong, guys."
There you go. Pat Forty would never.
So just doubling down.
Yeah,
like the people who still think Greg Schiano would be better at Tennessee. Rutgers is going really well. They're really,
I saw one. It was like, how do you go from Tony Elliott to Josh Heupel? When Tennessee hired Josh Heupel, I saw that today, and I was like, man, if you could only see where Tony Elliott is right now. I mean, he done got hired and fired, so.
Oh, man. Love to see it.
He did get fired, right?
I think so. I probably didn't. They just lost to Virginia Tech, didn't they?
I think he's still at Virginia.
Handily. Man. He hasn't been there too long.
Well, there is a good article that I just typed in. Tony Elliott said, UVA football, getting fired would be the best thing that could happen for Tony Elliott. So, yeah, things aren't going great there.
37-17, and they're not bowl eligible.
Yikes.
That game was to get bowl eligible. Nope.
Been there. Any fails of the week?
Oh, yeah. Let me get to them.
I think anything that has to do with Florida State. That's one for me.
Are they still playing football?
I mean, Mike Norvell is like, I don't know. Buddy, you're a dead man walking. I don't even know how he's still employed. That buyout must be massive, and you know what the limit is for Florida State to spend if you're Mike Norvell, because you should absolutely not be there anymore.
but they also should have been in the college football playoff last year. So remember that.
Yeah.
Our friend Chris Bear, I don't want to say his last name. It sounds dirty. You guys know who I'm talking about. Used to be on ESPN. Now he's on Fox, still making bad picks. He had a couple ones, but my favorite one that was revealed this week, Penn State is Penn State. Empty calorie wins, lose to top 10 team at home. Indiana, 106 rated strength of schedule. Then Brandon Zimmerman tweeted, Georgia is an extremely flawed national title contender, but its championship mentality and resilience has allowed it to overcome these shortcomings all season. I don't know what the rest of the tweet says. Then he said, food for thought, winning is hard. I mean, if you got to say like Georgia, I don't disagree with it, but your argument for Penn State is Penn State, empty calorie wins. You can't change it up for Georgia. Like, you got to keep that same mentality. Yeah. Winning is hard. You're right. Should have just said that the whole time. Shouldn't. He's dumb. I think he tried to keep Tennessee out of the playoff before Alabama lost.
I think that would be anytime Tennessee loses, we just
winning is hard. Winning is hard.
I mean, that's a perfect excuse, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
I think every loss looks like a good loss if you just say winning is hard after.
Agreed. My last one is just Ryan Day. Can we stop pretending he's a good football coach?
Yeah.
For that matter, Lane Kiffin while we're at it.
Lincoln Riley?
Sure. Pick one.
Yeah, it's crazy. Winning is hard.
Winning is hard. Oh, I do have one most important. I forgot about this one. Friday night. Did you watch any of that Sevier County Oak Ridge game?
Mm-mm.
Mayhem, dude. Mayhem. But fourth quarter, 7:30 left in the game. Sevier County scores, goes up 38-34. Kick an onside kick, recover it. And it was Sevier County from there on out. Dude, it was insane.
Dang.
The balls to do that. Which I guess you could have said at that point in the game, whoever had the football is going to score, so might as well see if we can get it back.
Yeah.
But still, give them a short field. They're definitely going to go up at that point if you don't recover it at stones. Sevier County's good, and a lot of their talent is freshmen and sophomores. You got a freshman running back who can play. Sophomore quarterback who can play.
Be a tough test. Page is really good.
There's a bunch of really good teams. Macon County beat Anderson County this week. Then tore down the field goal post. That was pretty sick. Yeah, pretty sick. Fun week of high school football.
I guess that's got to be like, you can't just do that for anybody. You're like, guys, we can't just get a whole new
that's
post like immediately.
Yeah. I got to think like maybe this is their last year anyways. They're getting new ones next year. Yeah. Otherwise, it's pretty bold.
Yeah. I got one more most important as well. Max Gilbert, baby. We didn't talk about him. Dong punch. It don't have to be pretty. It just has to go in, baby. And it went in.
That's right.
Little dong punch in the cold, and he's just been so good as of late. You know, I know he was 1 for 6 at one point, and then from then on, he's just been just a dude for Tennessee. And his little celebrations, I mean, the dude is, I mean, we all know kickers are weird, but he is the best kind of weird.
Listen, I didn't need to know if that 50-yard field goal hit the post or not. It went in. Hit the crossbar or not. It went in.
It counts. It's good.
That's right.
All right. Anything else? I think punching a player with his helmet on is also one of the dumbest things I saw this weekend. I see it a lot, but it's still dumb.
Say that again. Sorry, I'm reading something.
I said punching somebody with their helmet on is it's something we continue to see, but it's still so dumb.
The Notre Dame one was crazy. The over the top jab.
I mean, right in the face mask. There's no way that felt good at all.
But some people never learn. I don't know.
Yep. All right. Anything else?
No, that's it. That's it for me. Hope everyone has a good week. First full week back. It's going to be tough.
It's December. It's crazy, but it's here. Enjoy it. We'll be back in 3 weeks. I'm just kidding. We'll be here, but Tennessee football will be back in 3 weeks. So no clue how we're going to fill content, but we're going to. I guess with the championship week and probably officiating will come up once or twice. So, yeah, we'll have plenty to talk about. Guys, thank y'all again for listening. Go check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I think we have TikTok too. I don't know how often we use it, but go check that out. YouTube. Go check out our latest sit down with BFL Connor Pavoloni. Have a great week. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.